Another tiny blonde lady over serving herself with vodka.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hi, dear friend. Right back at you. I am Ramona Ramirez, and I am so grateful that we had the plan to do this morning. We hope that this offers you, listeners, some relief from this horrific timeline that we find ourselves in. Shit's getting real. Obviously, my heart is always with LA, especially now. And I love you, Margee, so fucking much that I can't ever quantify it. And I'm just really happy to be here with you right now. Really happy to be here with you.
Friend. Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. This premiere came in hot, came in heavy. Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami, y'all.
Yeah, a supersized episode to start the season. And as we were saying before we started recording, like not a bit of filler. Every time I thought we were getting a break, like a new text message would come in or a new piece of information would be revealed. And I was like, Jesus Christ, so much has been going on with these ladies.
Yeah, it was brutal,
and we haven't
man.
even met the new one yet.
I know.
Like, holy crap.
This episode showed no mercy. It swiped the leg, if I may be so bold as to have a Karate Kid 1 from the 80s reference. Showed no mercy. And I believe that, now I don't watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I've talked about that before. It's too much like some of the stuff that I grew up with in the Mexican half of my family. But this franchise is single-handedly responsible for kicking feminism back a million fucking years. It is wild. I don't know if Jersey's like that, but yes, you're nodding yes. Okay.
Oh, God. It's the same attitude.
I had a feeling, but wow. Oh, yeah, the men.
Yeah.
Sons.
Was it Adriana who said, in the Latin culture, we often forgive our men too many times, in a way where she was saying, I understand what Alexia is doing because that's what we do. It's what we were told to do. It's what we saw modeled for us. And so we do the same thing. So
just to let them know that cycle is very breakable. You can break it if you want to. I don't even know where to start. Like, there were rare W's, but there were so many L's. And I can't relate to anyone at all except for, rarely. Everything Lisa fucking Hochstein does is for the goddamn gram, man. Every house is just white and full of big, shiny blocks of furniture. And I don't even get house porn. I get no good walk-in closets that I, salivate over. I would take a Heather Dubrow house over any of these houses, any of these spaces. And that's saying something.
I mean,
that's saying something for me. Anyway.
But I will say, Lisa Hochstein, I do not care for her at all, but I understood her when she was like, I just reconciled with my father. He chose alcohol over raising his children. And I guess it was Larsa who later says our family was all about what we looked like. I was like, oh, no wonder. I feel like everyone who has a seat on a reality TV show has a seat in an Al-Anon room when they want it.
Probably. Probably.
So
yeah.
damage. So much damage.
Yes, you're right.
Expression of damage. Certainly her interior decor is unforgivable no matter what. Good Lord, that rental. I remember my aunt who lived in New York City took us to see a friend of hers bachelor apartment, and it had a water bed and black light and black and white furniture. And that's what Lisa Hochstein's house looks like. It's that weird bachelor apartment on steroids. And it's cozy is not a word I would have picked out of every option in the dictionary to describe that monstrosity. That house is about as cozy as Jody, who feels like a fucking AI mechanism.
Jesus.
Weird.
All right, guys, we're going to try to not slog through it, but I was like, okay, enough, stop, uncle. Anyway, so we start the episode with a dramatic April 2022 flashback. We see bits from Alexia and Todd's wedding, heavy focus on Todd's vows and comments about how much he loves her, and then Alexia's voiceover saying what she loves about Todd is his acceptance of her sons.
And then we get 2 years later and we check in with the rest of the ladies. Larsa and Lisa are discussing the headline news that Todd has filed for divorce. Adriana tells Kiki that she was right, but this is the one time she wished she wasn't. And then we're now in April 2024. And this actually broke my heart. I don't like Alexia at all, but I don't like to see anyone cry like this. Alexia is sobbing in Marisol's arms and saying, I never expected him to do this. And then Marisol and Julia are now there, and she explains to them that Todd took her out to dinner on a Friday night, slept with her, showered her with praise. Then the next morning, April 6th, Todd was like impatient for her to leave the house because she had plans to go meet up with her son, Peter. And when she returned, he had taken all of his belongings and moved himself and his daughter out without saying a word to Alexia. And apparently he had had an apartment for about a month and had been slowly moving little things over there and then took everything and left for good on that Saturday. And he did it all in front of Frankie. For anyone who's not familiar with this franchise, Frankie has a traumatic brain injury from a car accident many years ago now. But like, it's just so, it's like an added level of atrociousness.
That his brother Peter was driving recklessly. I think that should be noted. Maybe I'm an asshole for that, but hashtag never forget.
That information like helps understand some of the family dynamics. Yeah, I think Peter is not, I think Peter could use some therapy to deal with that. Hopefully, yeah, I'm sure he has a ton of survivor's guilt, even though his brother is alive. It's a different version of his brother than he sat down in the car with that day. So anyways, just heaviness. Anyways, Alexia returned home and Frankie was the one telling her, Todd's gone.
I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't say that at the beginning, before Alexia gives them the breakdown of what happened, Marisol says, don't let him make you feel bad. Bitch, this is fresh. Let her have it. This is a snapshot into how Marisol deals with feelings. Nope.
Yeah, she does that a couple times here.
Yep.
I had the same note. I'm like, Marisol can't tolerate emotion. Yeah.
So Julia asked Alexia if Todd was kind to Peter and Frankie. We see the flashback to 3 years earlier. This is the famous scene where they're sitting in the living room and Todd is dressing down Alexia and Peter for not encouraging, supporting Frankie to develop skills that his therapists are saying that he's capable of, And
his words were, you have not done anything to make it better for him. And I think what you just said is actually kind of nice. What he said was cruel. Can you imagine your kid who, by the grace of God, is alive? Like, give this woman a minute to, like, God, I don't know. You don't agree. You think Todd was right?
I absolutely don't agree. I think he was right fucking on. Listen to me. Listen.
I listen.
I am not saying that every Latina mom from Alexia's generation and before her is like that. I am not. What I am saying is, in my experience, I have seen the babying of sons especially. I have seen the excusing of abhorrent, inappropriate, toxic, abusive behavior because they're the son. And so I understand, and it might have hurt her feelings, and maybe his approach it was not appropriate. There's a myriad ways that can be communicated in a way that's effective but kind.
Yes. And I'm with you. If he had said what you said, that would land and make sense. He did not take any time or consideration speaking to a mother of a child with a traumatic brain injury inflicted upon that child by the other son sitting in the room. Be thoughtful about, it's like everyone talks about, like, don't tell moms or dads how to parent. Like, Todd.
I know.
You choose your words, sir. There could
Yeah.
not be anything more sensitive. The fact that Frankie's alive, I think if I were in Alexia's shoes, I'd have a hard time getting past being grateful for that to even see clearly. And I would be open to someone telling me, like, hey, he's here and there's more we can do for him now. Are you open to having that conversation, as opposed to, you have not done anything to make it better for him? That, speaking in absolutes, you're still on board. You think it's okay.
No, okay. When you say it like that, I understand.
Anything? It's
You're-
like so vile.
It is, but man,
But I hear you.
Peter's just shown so much disgusting, illegal behavior, cruel and unusual,
True.
torturous behavior.
Unforgivable. You're
and
right.
she fucking will scrape the bottom of the excuse barrel to enable this man-child.
But don't you think that's the same attitude she brings to Todd?
Absolutely.
I think maybe every man in that room has something that she could stand to do without in her life.
Absolutely. He says to Alexia, like, oh, Peter getting him stoned is helping. Alexia says, Todd, be careful with your words. And Peter's just sitting there like the unconcerned asshole he is. He looks a little bit jarred, but not enough. He's still sitting there with his fucking man spread. He's way too casual, in my opinion, for this level of conversation. She admits that him getting Frankie stoned was not the best. She tells Julia that she feels like she let her son down a lot. And Julia, with the mother archetype that she is, for all of her faults, mothering is in her nature. She cannot help herself.
Those goats have like the best life any goat could ever ask for.
Right. And she stresses to Alexia that she should never say that she let her boy down. Obviously, she's talking about Frankie, you know. And then she says that on Monday, following him moving out, they talk as if nothing had happened. This is, again, you don't confront what's happening. I'm sure that is not exclusive to Latino households.
No,
but
that's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's a child of an alcoholic thing.
Yeah.
You chronologically move past it and pretend like it didn't happen and it doesn't affect everything about you moving forward.
Yeah, truth. And so the Tuesday after the Saturday he moved out, she got a call from her attorney saying Todd filed for divorce. Marisol says it's nothing you haven't been through before, nothing you can't handle. Marisol, it just happened. She just fucking hates discomfort and it's the root of her alcoholism. I said it. Alcoholism. I said it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm taking her inventory. That's what I do on this show.
I mean,
I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional therapist. I am not a substance disorder therapist. I am the adult child of an alcoholic. And on this podcast, I call it like I see it. And to me, this reeks of the roots of her alcoholism.
well,
Am I a shithead? Am I a fucking asshole?
No, she's just, whether it contributes to Marisol's alcoholism or not, she's certainly trying to shuffle someone past the pain and get to the part where it's happened to you before you can get over it. Let's go. It's like, no, what I learned in therapy, which I did not learn as a kid, is that it's important to have your feelings, let them be big and move through you, and then you can move on without them. But when I was told to like get up, get it together, keep it moving, the ghosts all stayed with me and I internalized every single one of those experiences and carried them with me everywhere, which is why I'm still quick to react or quick to grieve or quick to whatever, because there's still little ghosts in there that weren't dealt with in the moment. And so something will invite them to come out and then they'll be like, they'll insist on themselves. So I just wish she'd given her that, Marisol had given Alexia this moment to fall apart, because it's pretty devastating. And certainly Alexia has a part in it for sure. But you can't, at least for me, I can't get to looking at my part until I've done the first 3 columns of the 4th step, which are who hurt me, what am I mad about, and what does it affect in me? Then we can talk about what's my part. But I need to like purge all of the other stuff first. So.
Yeah. And might I add that however my personal feelings and opinions are about Alexia, it's a pretty appropriate fucking response that she's having given what she's going through. I mean, that's like the most dysregulating and bewildering thing that I can imagine. One of the most I can imagine in a marriage, in a relationship. So anyway.
But I will say, at one point she says, that Todd said to her she'll be happy with this decision. And in that moment, my whole system went like, huh? And it made me wonder if he's done something criminal and he's actually trying to like keep her in the dark. Like the more information she has, the more her life will suck because she'll get drawn into any court case or whatever. So that's terrible. I guess my point is it's all terrible. Either he moved out because he's a shithead or he moved out because he's a criminal. So we don't have a lot of great options and she should cry.
The thought crossed my mind as well.
Because that's a weird fucking thing to say.
It's such a weird thing to say. And so either she had, I thought maybe she had a tremendous amount of financial issues or he has a tremendous amount of financial issues and he doesn't want her to. But yes, something is afoot.
Well, there was rumors of his financial instability or dealings or something. And I wonder if it's starting to catch up with him and he just got away from her. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, yeah, because this is when it happens. 2 days later, we catch up with Alexia taking a phone call from your favorite. Of course, she's best friends with the Real Housewife of New Jersey, Teresa Giudice.
Yeah, another woman who makes incredibly sound decisions when it comes to her romantic life.
Good Lord.
Jesus H.
She said she didn't see Todd doing this to her in a million years. And Todd is told Alexia that she'll be happy about this decision. But Alexia breaks down again and says it was so painful. And weirdly, Teresa is able to tolerate this. And she just goes, oh, that you could hear in her voice, like when you want to hug your friend through a phone. So even Teresa had a moment of light humanity.
She broke and clocked. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And then later that day, we catch up with Alexia speaking with the whole cast. And somebody asked her if they'd ever spoken about divorce. And she said no. That's why this is so painful. And Alexia said she wishes she could go back in time, take this all back and fix it and live happily ever after. That's all I wanted. And then she breaks down in tears about the fact that she'll be 3 times divorced now. And this broke my heart. She said, every time I'm happy, something happens. I don't even want to be happy anymore. And I was like, oh, that's a signal of depression, honey. Like, get her to a therapist, get her an antidepressant.
I love how much compassion you have for her.
Just moment by moment. I'm really isolating that statement. Todd was a red flag from the second he came on the scene. I don't think this was a good choice. But when anyone says something like, I don't even want to be happy anymore, that's heading into like an area of darkness that feels treacherous.
And I should have compassion. And I should have even clocked it. I didn't even clock it. I wonder if I'm okay, here's what I am. I am on alert and I'm highly skeptical. Alexia, she makes me angry. She doesn't just make me itchy. She makes me angry. She actively infuriates me when I watch her. And that is about my stuff, obviously. I 100% see that. Bravo's real fucking life, y'all. Bravo is real life.
Again, Sutton is my dad. So I totally get what you're saying. Sutton comes on screen and I'm immediately like on high alert and I'm ready to like pick apart what there is to, how much she drinks and what she says and all that shit. So
Alexia is my grandfather's sisters. As an aside, as a snarky aside, my problematic fave on this franchise, Adriana says, a lot of things make sense now, and she sips her champagne. And at some point in this conversation, Larsa says, do you think you can work things out? Again, why would you want her to work this out? I can see that she wants her friend to be happy, and she thinks that Alexia's happiness is tied to coming back with Todd right now, instead of saying, oh my God, thank God you're free of a man who would move out behind your fucking back and have it planned for a month in front of your son who loved him, who loved Todd and lived with Todd. Why would you want your friend to get back with someone like that? Jesus H. Christ. Then they have a group hug and Lisa Hochstein can't even put her fucking phone down to do this hug.
I didn't notice, but that sounds on brand.
I can't stand
She's
it.
Such a turd.
I can't stand her. I just can't.
She is just cartoonishly awful. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
including
yes.
this next moment where 5 months later, we catch up with Marisol and Alexia having drinks and Lisa is coming to meet them after news has broken that her ex-husband Lenny and his fiance are ending their engagement after a year.
I want to know if you notice that Marisol's drink order is very similar to Sutton's. Tito's with a splash of cranberry. Not a splash of ruby red, but a splash of cranberry. I don't think that Sutton drinks Tito's. Maybe she does, but you get the gist. You get the gist. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't, but now I will be. I consider me alerted. Another tiny blonde lady over serving herself with vodka.
And when you are an Al-Anon, when you have the Al-Anonic disease, this is the shit you notice. You notice people's drinks and how they drink and what they drink. Bravo is real motherfucking life.
What is not real life is Marisol's worrying that Lisa might get back together with Lenny, which just seems like that felt like, are we just making shit up for a scene? And Alexia thinks she's too loyal to her billionaire boyfriend, Jody. And Alexia, this is another example of that thing of women just like begging for men's approval. Alexia says Lisa just wants Lenny to be nice to her. At the end of the day, women just want their exes and their men to be nice to them. That's it. That's all we want. We don't need respect. We don't need partnership. We don't need companionship. We just want you to be nice to us.
The internalized misogyny is it's
loud,
stacked. Okay, so unshockingly this week, there were photos in the gossip blogs of Lisa and Lenny with huge smiles on their face, with a picture of their son Logan between them celebrating Logan's birthday. And there were recent photos of Lisa with Lenny's mom. We know that there was mad beef between Lisa's mother-in-law, who had loved Lisa, seemingly, just hated her when Lenny left and when he got together with Katerina. And so there were pictures of them in the blogs lately together. So I don't know, dude. Oh, yeah. And there were also pictures of Alexia and Todd having dinner together, having a great time. This is all in the last week. These pictures have come out. I know how the Bravo premiere sausage is made. It's no mistake that these pictures were out. I'm not convinced that Lisa wouldn't get back with Lenny. She's too obsessed with him and what he does. I'm not convinced. I'm sorry, I'm not.
I would be really, I think that would be a hard one to go back to.
Oh, believe me, but Lisa is garbage. She's garbage.
So is Lenny.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely.
That I don't know.
But has she ever shown us that she wants to be with someone quality? I think she really projects a lot of shit that isn't true about Jody onto Jody to rationalize why she's with him. And
yes.
We also know that, man, I'm going to get real fucking judgy during this franchise. I want to say I acknowledge that I get real judgy when it comes to these women. I acknowledge that. I am not coming from a misogynistic place. I'm coming from the place of things that I've seen and behavior that I feel is toxic. And, you know, they might not be out there being violent or other things that we see men capable of. But what I am saying is that they are not girls. Everyone here is maybe not everyone. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm on fumes this morning. You know what I mean. Anyway, I think
it's what you said. Like, these women exist. These women are operating in modern day society from the headspace of my mom, who was raised in the 40s and 50s when women couldn't have jobs, careers, houses, credit cards, any of that, you know? So your whole identity is tied to your ability to get and keep a man. Yeah. That's
a much kinder and succinct way. No, I said it with a lot of, I didn't, yes.
But that's what I find interesting about this show is I'm watching play out in real time a value system that was proposed to me by my family of origin. And it took me a long time to buck just parts of it. And I still haven't gotten rid of all of it. I still think there's truth societally to, like, if you're a woman who's never been married, she must be damaged. There's something so wrong with her. If you're a woman who's been divorced, at least you were married. If you're a man who's never been married, who cares? You can be a bachelor forever and that's just fine. If you're a man who's been divorced, you married a crazy woman and get yourself a hot piece of ass to make up for it. Maybe I'm projecting that, but it does feel like, I don't know, at least in our generation, that still feels like a relevant part of the narrative. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Who gives a shit? I'll take it to therapy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Marisol confronts Alexia about Todd and says, "You didn't tell me you were seeing him. I read about it in the press."
Alexia claims she wasn't embarrassed or ashamed, and yet she didn't tell any of her friends, and they found out because there was, the press reported on it, that they were seen like locked down in a hotel room in Paris, boning it out.
Doth protesting. She's got to say that out loud so that she can convince her motherfucking self that she's not embarrassed
honestly,
of it.
She doesn't have any information to know if she should be or not. Like, she later says that they have not talked about why he left in the way he did, why he came back. They have not, why he filed for divorce, which is still pending. They haven't talked about any of that. Apparently, a couple weeks later, he was like, "Can't live without you, babe." And they've just been like going to dinner and having sex and not talking about how the fact that he secured an apartment, moved out his shit and his daughter. So I don't know. I don't know if she should be ashamed or embarrassed. I don't know what the hell is going on, and neither does she. So, like, okay.
Can you imagine?
Insane. No, I wouldn't.
Can you imagine?
I could barely get through this episode not knowing.
I
and
know.
she's gone on for months, and this seems insane.
It's utterly insane. It's utterly insane. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, God. Lisa arrives. I don't even want to go into this shit. She fucking plays some practical joke where she says she would consider getting back together with Lenny. She has kids to think about. And Lenny has been asking to get back. And Alexia and Marisol appropriately flip out. And Alexia says, not, "Are you kidding?" Not, "Oh, honey, no, you can't go back to a man that treated you like that." She says, "What about Jody? What about the other man? What about the man Jody?" My fucking God.
But it shows how deeply ingrained that is when in a moment of like heightened emotion, that's the first thing that organically comes out of her mouth. It's
yeah,
like,
I don't.
The men. It's
I know.
nuts.
And I have zero. I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot. My throat's clenching. I'm angry. I think it's disgusting. And I am so enraged just watching it play out in front of my fucking face. Whew. I'm going to have to get a grip because we've got, 17 episodes ahead of us? Lol. Then Lisa says in her confessional, after she says she's kidding, she says she'd rather post an ugly, unflattering photo of herself than get back together with Lenny.
Naked photo.
Yeah. I don't believe her that she's not going to get back together with Lenny. I don't. I don't know when it's going to happen. And you know what? I will fully sit here and say I was wrong. I will absolutely do that. I have no problem saying that. But the fact that her worst nightmare is just posting an unflattering photo of herself, this woman's priorities, what is important to this woman in her life, I'm not saying I want unflattering pictures of me out there. Who the fuck does? That's the great thing about Instagram. Unless you're in somebody else's picture and they tag you, you're like, oh, God damn. I'm not out there posting unflattering pictures of myself for the most part. You know what I mean? But is it my worst nightmare? Is that the thing that's like, I would rather have that happen than whatever? No, man. There's more important things. You know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I go real heavy-handed. Maybe I should just love that about me. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Lisa's life is just very small, so these are the things that she's left to worry about.
Great way to
She doesn't care about the world at large. It's just what goes on Star Island and in
I'm going to exhaust myself. I'm going to exhaust myself like a fucking puppy. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on, friend.
Lisa now brings up Alexia and Todd reconciling, and Alexia said that she loves Todd and they're not finished. And Marisol in a confessional says she thinks it's stupid, but Alexia has to live her own life. And this is where we get the information that a couple weeks after filing for divorce, Todd decided he couldn't live without Alexia, and they've just been like playing house, I guess, ever since. And then Marisol offers some true wisdom, and I'd never heard this before, but I thought it was very concise and very true. She says, sometimes what's right for the whole is not right for the soul. And I was like, I wish someone had like tattooed that on my forehead in college. And I could have spared myself a lot of weird heartaches and dangerous choices.
Marisol can put that one on one of her crystal encrusted water bottles that she likes to sell. She could put that one on a t-shirt and I bet it would sell more than Cockies. Yep. Oh God, help me out, please. Whew, whew. Lisa tells them she's throwing Jody a birthday party, old Hollywood theme. And Alexia asks if Jody is going to invite Marcus. And then we see a headline flash that says, Michael Jordan's disapproval and feud with Scottie Pippen played a role in Larsa and Marcus's breakup. I love any time I get to hear about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, mostly because I think about all of the people that have come out to say their experiences with Scottie Pippen have revealed that he is a cheap mofo, and his nickname is No Tippin' Pippin. That's effing hilarious. And so I love it. I also love that this franchise really gets a lot of NBA mentions. Like you could get all of your needs met watching those teams, the 1990s era of all of the big teams, but especially Chicago Bulls. The drama, the intrigue, the gossip, the glamour. So I was thrilled.
Baby.
Yes. Watch it. My God. Fascinating, chilling, chillingly good. Lisa says no, and that she and Larsa have an issue over some complete nonsense. And Alexia interrupts her to say, Larsa did have a reason. And Lisa wants to clear her name. Again, this woman is revolting. She doesn't give a flying fuck about her friend. She wants to clear her name and make herself look good. Yes, friend.
Well, and what happened was that Larsa and Marcus Jordan are going through this relatively toxic breakup. And according to Lisa, she and Jody came across Marcus at a restaurant, and Marcus took a selfie with Jody and posted it. And that pissed Larsa off. And apparently Lisa still follows Marcus Jordan, and that's another sore spot. And it's not that deep. It's not deep enough for Lisa to just unfollow Marcus for a fucking minute and just say like, sorry, Larsa, I should have told you I ran into him. It could have all been solved like that. But instead, she wants to twist the knife. It's very weird.
It's also very embarrassing that people the people that are, Larsa's middle-aged. I don't know how old Lisa is. Maybe she's an elder mill or a baby Gen X, but Jesus H. Christ. Instagram. But it is a showcase of support. You're right.
Yes, that was my first thought. It's like, are you guys fucking serious? But then I think to this day, occasionally, when you hit a dark hole, sometimes you'll go and look at ex-boyfriend's social media, and I'll notice which friends of mine still follow these people. And it is like a weird, like, why? And it feels like a disloyal act when in fact they probably just don't give a shit about whatever. But these people are on reality TV. Everyone notices who follows who unfollows who. It is a statement, I think. And I know it does sound stupid because that was my initial reaction too. But if I broke up with someone and you continued to follow them, I would have a conversation with you about it. It would bother me.
I'd go scorched. I've talked to you about going scorched earth when you won't.
I know. But weirdly, like in their world especially, it carries a lot of weight. So it's weird. Anyways, Lisa sucks. And
man, she sucks bad. She sucks
line.
Fucking bad. Yes.
And she seems delighted that Larsa is like squirming in pain, especially because they were very close friends. So this is a very strange look for Lisa. I don't understand what's motivating it, except later in the episode, I think she's in a cocaine phase. I think she's really... When she made her outfit change at the party at the end, I think she also changed her brain chemistry because she came out and she was like, let's go. Let's fucking go. Get out. You get out. Happy birthday to you. I was like, Jesus Christ. And of course, we see Jody checking the air conditioning or whatever the fuck.
My God.
They were calling drugs. Like, it's all...
Were you doing coke in that bathroom? Yes.
100%,
yes.
Lisa Rinna. 100%.
Lisa pulls out some bullshit that I can't stop Jody from being with his friends. Like, man, this bitch will go to the... yes, I said the B word, but I said it more like I didn't
This
say it in a
bitch.
misogynistic way. I said it in like the way like this bitch. Like we. I got to have faith that people know who I am, right? I just let it the fuck go. Don't qualify everything that comes out of my mouth.
Look, I think the point is, I guess for me, that expression makes sense to me because the onus is on women to control everything and everyone, I guess. And also, Lisa, it's not about Jody. If you were recently getting out of a toxic relationship and I ran into your ex in a restaurant, I would text you and say like, hey, just so you know, I ran into so-and-so at this restaurant. I'm not going out with them, but my boyfriend chose to. And here's the extent of the exchange, whatever. But Lisa's
Yeah.
just like a sneaky cunt and I'm sure giggled with Marcus about like, hee, I won't tell her I saw you. Bye, have fun, boys. Like, she's so gross.
She's so disgusting. Ay, ay, ay. So it's shared that Larsa said Lisa should have controlled Jody and that Larsa threatened, this is over text messages. Larsa threatened to start hanging out with Letty and Katerina. And I'm like, my God, these emotionally stunted, dangerously immature grown-ups. I am not counting Gertie and Russell. Never Gertie and Russell.
Oh, I
Don't
love
get this
Gertie and
twisted.
Russell.
I do too. Yeah. But the rest of them, man, abandon hope, ye all who enter here. So in Lisa's confessional, we see texts from Larsa saying, mean-ass childish shit. Wow. You don't have any friends. And not spelling out you, just using the letter U. Listen, have I done that? Absolutely. I do it intentionally. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like...
I do, but again, I just feel like in the throes of a breakup, you know what I mean? If somebody pulled up text messages I sent like, weeks out of a breakup, I can't guarantee I wouldn't have been a disaster. And she's not actually going to hang out with Lenny and Katrina because nobody wants to. They're lame. The whole thing is stupid. Like Larsa's lashing out and Lisa doesn't think she did anything wrong, so she won't apologize. So she's just making it worse. Larsa's not in a rational headspace right now. Like her relationship is broken up. Why? Because her boyfriend was photographed snorting coke off a Coke spoon over a resort breakfast, okay? And that man had been living under her roof, so everyone knows there was coke in her house, and she's exposed for either at least allowing it, if not participating. She's not well, Like this is not the time to like pull your rational high ground, Lisa. It's just so weird.
Dude. Oh, God, help us. Anyway.
I know.
Anyway, yes. So then these senior citizen women ask Lisa if she still follows Marcus on Instagram, and that would be akin to the both of them following Lenny. And listen, I am not age shaming when I refer to Alexia and Marisol as eligible to join AARP. That is not what I'm doing. I promise you. What I'm saying is that they are immature AF. But then I think about what you just said. Ay, ay, ay.
It would bug me, and I'm old.
Yeah, it would.
I don't know what to say.
Yes.
It's part of our
Yeah.
culture now.
You're
it's
right.
just
You're
like,
right.
It's the same as going to a party. It's the same. It carries the same weight, even more so because now we're all isolated hermits since the pandemic. So we all watch social media to see who is friends with who's following. Like, I don't know. It sounds stupid, but it would hurt me.
Okay.
And I would know it would hurt you.
Yes.
Knowing that,
okay.
I would unfollow
God,
someone.
you're right. You're right. Objection sustained. Objection sustained.
And probably AARP, the cover stories these days are probably like how to use Instagram. Like it's headline
I don't know,
news.
man. The eligibility is only 55. So
Yeah,
yeah,
take it back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that out loud, but it's the truth. I know.
God, it's creeping. It's really creeping.
Absolutely. It's disgusting and offensive.
Then we go to Julia and Martina, who are putting little cover or corner protectors on counters in their kitchen. And Julia reports that after 2 years of daydreaming about having a baby, now she has 2. They have adopted 2 boys who are brothers, 3 years old and a 1.5-year-old. And apparently they got the call out of nowhere. They've had no time to prepare. But now her life is goat poop in one hand and diaper poop in the other. And it's thrilling because Martina is 100% cancer-free. I think she had 2 separate early stage, but still any cancer diagnosis is terrifying. But she's now 100% cancer-free, and Julia's really enjoying watching her interact with the boys, even if they are the age of grandparents and they are AARP.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone that
eligible.
Martina Navratilova is a raging transphobe, and a raging unapologetic transphobe.
Now, what the fuck is this? I just heard about this. What the fuck is going on? Is this a like Caitlyn Jenner thing where she's just like, I'm a marginalized person, but also anyone else who's marginalized, go fuck yourselves?
It was about participating in sports, that it's not okay. Don't even get me started. What the fuck is up with Florida, man?
Honestly.
Trump, Diddy, these fucking fools.
That's so disappointing. I was not aware of that. And
Yeah.
it's a real bummer.
And then Julia, who is very, what do they refer it? She's very transcontinental. She's very worldly. She has named one of the boys Jackson with an XS. Now, in the Reddit world, that name is referred to as a tragedy, spelled Tragedeih. Instead of just tragedy, you gotta make it fucking different. Instead of just Jackson, Jackson, we gotta go in and be terminally unique. I was real disappointed.
So she named them?
Oh, you know what? Maybe she didn't. Maybe they came
I
with
don't
those
know.
names.
I'm asking.
Oh,
I
God.
don't know.
Oh, okay. I take it back. I take it back.
I literally have no idea.
No, one of them's
here's
3
my
and one of
frame of
them's 1.5.
reference. My frame of reference is adopting dogs. So I was like, well, Evelyn and Sophie came with their names. Do kids do that? I don't know. I have no idea.
How did you get 2 dogs with human names?
That's
amazing, Margie.
Because the shelters just name them, like they name the groups that
Yes.
come in together with one starting letter so they can keep track of who came in when. Anyways, who gives a shit? I just, I'm curious, especially the 3-year-old, because I wonder
Yes.
if
Oh my God.
that baby's already
God.
sort of.
Okay.
But I don't know. I also
when
think it's
I wrote,
totally reasonable for people to rename their, offspring.
Well, you know what, though? When I wrote that note, I didn't know the ages of the babies. I am not looking for loopholes. I am just saying, when I wrote it, I did not have the full information. Now that I have the full information, I feel the embarrassment coming in physically.
Because you could very well be right. I literally am just curious if I adopted a 3-year-old, I don't know. I mean, everything's so upside down for them at that point. So maybe just changing their name is like part of just do it quick and get them used to it. I have no idea what you do with a human 3-year-old baby.
I'm going on record.
Even a 1.5-year-old, because 1 to walk, 2 to talk, right? So they're picking it up by then.
Oh, I've never heard that before. I'm going on record that what I said.
You do not need to get in a shame spiral about Jackson with an XS. That is confusing, and who knows? Hopefully we'll get to learn more about them. But for right now, obviously, later we learn Julia's keeping them off camera so that they can adjust.
Thank God, man. That's
Truly.
fucking rare. That's rare, and I appreciate it. Martina asks, hey, how did the cast react? And we see a flashback to a FaceTime group call where Julia is filling in her castmates, and everyone's there except for Gertie and Kiki. Lisa's avatar, while she's away from the screen, is a photo of her in a 2-piece bathing suit and a cowboy hat leaning against a fucking sail thing or whatever on a yacht or a sailing yacht or whatever. And I just fucking can't. Make it stop. Julia tells them that they're 2 brothers. One is 3, one is 1.5 years. She won't be posting pics because they're all bonding and adjusting right now. And Kiki wasn't on the call, we learned, because her daughter dropped Kiki's phone in the toilet. And Gertie's call dropped. She didn't call back. And Martina is not okay with this. And Julia says in a confessional she saw the numbers of her castmates that were on the call, saw that Gertie dropped. I think Gertie texted her to get the link for the call again. And Julia wasn't able to respond. But she said that Gertie shared like congratulation texts that were like cold messages. It said like, congrats. And then transphobe Martina quips, oh, that's warm. And I just said, pot, kettle. I'm always team Gertie. I don't give a fuck. I probably should, but right now I'm always team Gertie. Julia says,
team nobody on this one because Julia says she was late to the call. Gertie had to jump off because she had another commitment, texted her to get the link to jump back on, was ignored, which is fine. And then it sounds like Julia texted Gertie back to say, like, I already told them the news, you'll find out with the rest of the general public. which is shitty, to which Gertie found out she adopted 2 babies, her lifelong dream, and just wrote, congrats. So everyone's a shithead here. Just Julia could have been a little more understanding of her tardiness affecting other people's schedule. And Gertie could have been a little more generous with anything beyond congrats. Like that's, at that point, you might as well just send a middle finger. You know what I mean? It's pretty rude. But
Oh my
Team
God.
Nobody. They're both like,
Team Nobody.
you guys are awful. Learn how to communicate. Try harder. Do better.
Okay. Yeah. Julia says that she's reevaluating her friendship with Gertie.
Which seems extreme. Like for this situation, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Just say to her, sorry I was late. However late I was, you know this matters the most to me. My whole life is changing with these 2 children landing in my house unexpectedly. It would have meant a lot if you could have said anything other than just, like there's a way to do this where you don't have to cut off your fucking friendship. And like, it's insane.
Yeah, Martina asks her how she's going to deal with it. And Julia says her hands are full. She's not going to run after anyone. And Martina passive-aggressively says, okay. And then at this point, I was just grateful for the fucking commercial break. I was worn out.
We've been through a lot up to this point.
We have been, dude. And it's what, like 11 minutes into this episode? 12?
Oh, good Lord.
Not a lot. Then we resume.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
We just come back to the strangest moment in this episode. And maybe I just needed a distraction because everything was so intense. But Lisa's making breakfast for Jody. And I don't know if you noticed her egg scrambling, but she'd broken eggs into a pan as if they were going to fry because the yolks were still whole. And then she's holding a spatula like the kind you'd use to flip a hamburger and just shuffling the eggs around. But the yolks are still not breaking. Like it was the most... I've never seen anything like it. That's not cooking. Or is it? Do I not know that technique? Like, what the fuck was that?
I mean, I will say in a pinch, I've done the same thing because I'm like, it's going to scramble anyway. Do I prefer, if I'm making scrambled eggs, to put them in a bowl, whip them up, break up the yolk,
but
incorporate the whites?
Wouldn't you puncture the yolks in the pan to start scrambling them up? The yolks were all just flopping around on there.
Then no,
that's nuts.
That's
and there were
diabolical.
Like 30,000 eggs in there. She served a pile of eggs to Jody that like went from floor to ceiling. Anyways, that whole breakfast took me out. It was crazy. As did, this is where we get a look at her decor. Lisa is comfortable in her cozy 6,000 square foot with a 6,000 square foot balcony addition, 6-bedroom, $32,000 a month rental. And it's just like stark black and white 80s ugly. And I wrote, I hate Lisa's design taste almost as much as I hate her egg scrambling.
And then she is so, what word am I looking for? It's stronger than ignorant. It's stronger than materialistic. It is if vapid had a little bit of evil in it. She asks Jody for reassurance that the house they're living in right now is still big. But this one's still big, right? This one's still big. I would never want to trade places with that woman. And my God, her poor kids. I just can't. And then she says, of the moment that they're in, she's like, it's so peaceful right now. And we see flashbacks, probably recent flashbacks of her kids just being fucking kids. And kids are rambunctious and noisy. But they're supposed to be. And yes, absolutely.
I loved that little flashback.
Okay, fine. I can say that too. Like, there have been moments when Leo has been on a play date or at school and Josh and I are like, we have room to breathe, but we're not. I don't know. It feels like when Lisa's saying it, maybe it's just tainted by my low opinion of her, my subterranean opinion of this woman. Who fucking cares? Move on, Ramona.
Well,
move on.
No, but it's also reflected in like Jody is so emotionless. Like he says something that actually feels really like it has a lot of gravity to it, but he says it in a way that I would say like, do you need milk from the grocery store? He says that the biggest adjustment for Lisa throughout this divorce was going half time with her kids. I don't know. Lisa says that, she misses them and half the time they're at like an OnlyFans photo shoot at Lenny's house and she sometimes doesn't get to say goodnight to them. But she also delivers that in this like really casual, cavalier way that I'm like, but I would care a lot about that and I can't tell if you do. And that's weird.
This season, in my opinion, is Lisa's I'm a good mom redemption tour. And she and Jody are really pushing that narrative.
Well, they threw it all away when he went to go do blow in their bedroom.
Lenny's going to use that against Lisa at some point.
Yeah,
I feel like Lisa's going real hard from the jump to prove what a great mom she is. I saw her shame her fucking kid for eating a third piece of pizza. I don't fucking believe shit that comes out of this woman's mouth unless she's saying something materialistic. I don't.
No, she's a unreliable narrator. And she praises Jody for being there in the times when the kids are not with her. She's like, I don't know what I would have done. And that feels like kind of sad. And I don't know.
It feels
seems
pathetic. It feels, again.
If I were Jody, I'd be like, you're welcome. Like, do we have
it-
anything independent of your need to be kept company while you don't have your kids?
Yeah, like fucking be comfortable. Fucking don't rely on a dude to fix your feelings of loneliness.
Lisa changes the subject to Jody's upcoming birthday party. And he says he wants to invite a lot of his friends, so he's sure that it's his birthday and not Lisa's party. And we confirm that Marcus will not be invited because Jody doesn't want drama at his party. And Lisa just keeps going after this storyline, saying, like, I don't want her harping on me for something I didn't do, when, like, clearly she did whatever. Who cares? It just doesn't matter. And then we
I
get
know,
a
this
sad
show is
scene.
exhausting, isn't it? This
It
episode is
is.
exhausting.
It was just like a lot.
We're literally and
Dense.
figuratively throwing up our hands like, I don't know what the fuck to do with y'all.
I mean, I feel for them to a point, and then they push me too far. But they get me right back here where we go to this scene with Larsa and her mom, where her mom is cooking and Larsa is critiquing her cooking. And this is where I felt bad for Larsa, because she grew up with no other way to understand how to be in the world. She says her mom is old school. She's a keep your problems to yourself kind of person. They never heard anything bad about their dad. And Larsa says, we grew up in a place of like everything looked good and she was just really private. Everything looked good and you shut the fuck up about anything that might be wrong. Mm-hmm. And I wrote, sounds like an alcoholic household. I don't know if that's her dad's problem, but
Larsa's origin story explains a shit ton. You're right. And I don't mean you. I mean the collective you of the higher selves you. I get it. Again, I just fucking hate it when people don't try to do anything to fix it, especially with the means that they have. Yes. I get mad. I got mad at Kyle and Sutton, and I have the same amount of impatience for every single person on this cast. Again, maybe not Gertie and maybe not Russell.
But on the heels of saying this, you know, like, let's let everything look good and keep everything else private. Larsa's mom goes back to cooking and Larsa goes, I just need to drink wine. I just need to get drunk. It's so sad.
My God, I miss that.
Oh, it was amazing. I just wrote like, oh boy.
Oh God.
And then Larsa's mom agrees that sometimes it's better to be alone, especially if you're with the wrong person. Larsa then reveals this sad, fucking heartbreaking piece of information that her kids were telling her to, quote, get off the ride with Marcus. And Larsa claims the breakup happened because their lifestyles no longer aligned. And I was like, I think your lifestyle got photographed, you know, with the cocaine spoon. Having hung out with people who do cocaine, you can't do it for a full year without getting involved yourself. It's too annoying. You can't be around people who do drugs all the time and not do them yourself.
Oh.
You know, like you said, Lenny's going to use Jody doing coke against Lisa. I think Lisa has plenty. I think Lenny does all the drugs in the world too. All these fucking Florida rich fucks do. Like,
yeah, I can see that. It's
mutually
Florida,
assured
man.
destruction if you bring it up. Mm-hmm. And then Larsa breaks down and it made me sad. And again, I just hear the hallmarks of an oncoming depression. She goes, I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. And I was like, yeah, man, that's the early phases of a breakup. It's just a lot of tears and a lot of interest in being in bed, for me at least. So,
and her old school mom says, don't cry. Don't cry. When crying in this situation in particular would be 100% appropriate. And then I said, I see her origin story and I'm still not able to muster any compassion. I guess I am. Now that you and I are talking about it, yes, when I'm by myself, it's hard. But when I'm talking to you, I'm able to soften. So thank you, friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm back and forth on it because it broke my heart hearing her say, I just want to go to bed. I just want to go to bed, through big tears. But then she goes, it's embarrassing now that he's basically been caught on camera doing blow. and she doesn't want to have to address it. And then I was like, oh God, okay. So you've been with someone who's an addict and you knew that the whole time. They don't hide, like, come on, dude. But then she says some scary shit that he's been harassing her and her friends with hateful messages and talking shit about Larsa on social media. And now I really understand why Lisa's flippant behavior with Marcus hurt her all the more right now.
They show flashes of the Instagram conversations that Marcus is engaging with followers. And I want to note that his handle is MJ523. And this is
no. It's Air MJ, HEIR.
Oh my
MJ.
God, yes. I forgot to say, yes. And it's like Nep to the oh baby, like, oh my God, like
it's
shameless.
His whole brand. Yeah.
Shameless. Jesus. Oh,
Gross.
yoy. Yes, I also noted that Lisa and Larsa share in common that they're really concerned about the way their image is being portrayed. I wonder if it's because she's very involved with her children that read social media, and I can see that she wouldn't want to. I can see why she would be concerned with how she's being portrayed given the ages of her kids. Lisa, I think I think she'd be the same whether or not she was a mom, being worried about her image on social media. Anyway, I don't know.
I get it, but like in fairness, Larsa's business is selling pictures of her toes for old men to jerk off to.
You're right.
And that's been going on for years. So her kids are not unaware of who's, the matriarch in their home. So I don't know.
No shame to Larsa for doing that, honestly. Like,
no,
get your bag
I'm just
any way
saying
you
that
can,
I
girl.
don't think her kids can, like, there aren't new heights of embarrassment to this.
Okay.
This
God,
level.
I see what you're saying.
They've already.
Yes.
When you go to school and people are like, what does your mom do? And you are like, sells pictures of her toes so old men can get hard. It's like, after that, it's.
And I'm hard. Yes.
And I'm hard.
She shares with her mom she's bummed about Lisa being a shitty friend because she's not completely icing Marcus out, which leads us to the cut of Lisa rationalizing to Jody why she shouldn't distance herself from Marcus, mainly because Larsa and Marcus, they were off and on so much. They get back together, and it's on her and Jody for still being friends with him. Larsa has to grow up. Miami is a small place. Get over it. So, Lisa is a Kyle's brand of girl's girl, and she says, get over it. Like, dude, take a minute to imagine how Lisa would feel if the ugly wedge shoe that she likes to wear was on the other fucking foot. Like, imagine how much she would bemoan and shit the bed and whine 24/7 if this was happening to her. And she did do this. She did go through something similar the season before. And this is a case of she spots it, she gots it, man. For sure. Did I just make sense? I hope I just made sense.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And this moment, I was like, okay, I get it, Lisa. We've heard it all before. And I thought we were going to get just like a little break. And then a text comes in from Lisa's brother. And we get this news that she says they took her dad off a ventilator because they hoped he would be able to breathe without it. He struggled to do so. And so he is now back on the ventilator. We learn that he had a stroke and is struggling to survive it in the hospital. And then we get this, like, I was all full of like writing off Lisa. And then we get this information that she had just seen him a month or so ago. They had made amends after being apart for a very long time. He'd finally now met both of his grandchildren. And, we find out they were estranged because he was not involved in her childhood. She says he liked to drink a lot to the point that it motivated her to leave home at age 16 because it was not a safe or healthy environment. And then in a confessional, she says, you have to forgive your parents. They gave you life. They make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And at first, I bristled at that. And then I reminded myself of what we talked about last week about that definition of forgiveness being giving up hope for a better past. And I was like, it helped me recenter how to frame forgiveness. Like, I can give up hope for a better past with one parent in particular that caused a lot of turmoil. And then I can evaluate how I want to proceed in the present and future. And it sounds like she did that. She gave up hope for a better past. So she reconnected with her aging father just in time, because it sounds like he is really struggling. If he
Yeah.
emerges from this, he won't be whole. You know what I mean?
And
A
he
stroke
met her
takes a lot.
kids, which made her happy. And it is all her backstory is very relevant information. I understand that. I acknowledge that logically. I will maybe get to the point where I acknowledge it emotionally as well, which is
It doesn't
really a
forgive.
better like that. Accessing things emotionally is where I go to fairly quickly with other things, but with people like Lisa, mustering the compassion is a little bit more challenging for me, and that's on me. That's on me.
No, it doesn't forgive bad behavior. I'm with you. I think once we identify where our pain spots are, it's our job as adults to go fix them, go heal them, not fix them, mend them, heal them, so that we don't inflict the same. Because it's true, the cycle perpetuates
Yes,
until you take the steps
yes,
to interrupt it.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
that's on
yes.
her. And I don't see evidence that she's done much of that yet. But I was
Mm-hmm,
glad for her
mm-hmm.
that she was able to reconcile, see him before this health issue befell him.
Okay, fair. Fair as fuck. You're right. So then we have a scene with Kiki and Gertie on a yacht. Gertie has a confessional that cancer is always going to be a word that is never going to leave her mouth. And we have a flashback to a year ago when we see her sharing her diagnosis with her castmates. We learn she's had 6 surgeries, 20 rounds of chemo, radiation.
4 rounds of chemo and 20 rounds of radiation.
Damn.
In a year's time, that's just, you're never not in the hospital. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she had lipo to reconstruct her breasts. And in her confessional, she says that even though she's cancer-free, she's going through the wreckage of what cancer left. And we have the flashback to her conversation with Russell, telling him that she doesn't want him to see her as her caretaker. I can see that they have so much shrapnel for them to sort through. It must be so, like, what a wildly different, what word am I looking for? Bewildering, terrifying thing to have to figure out how to navigate. It's not something that we learn to navigate every day together.
Well, and I
Jeez.
appreciated her saying that as much as she wants to celebrate being cancer free, like you said, her words were, it was a big explosion and there's debris everywhere. And we are one day at a time picking up the pieces.
Mm.
And I think that dynamic, of course, gets set up between caretaker and patient. And then there's the PTSD on the caretaker side of like, will this happen again?
Oh,
Is she really
God.
safe? We have 5 years before we can feel halfway certain of anything. Like and Gertie, of course, wants, she said that she's worried about him not seeing her the way she used to see me. That's my biggest fear, she says. Again, it's on a dimmer, not a light switch. Like, it's going to take a long time to get back to this is a person who is not fragile, who is safe to trust that they will be here. Cancer is such a piece of shit. Like, it really is a destabilizing force in the whole family. So, yeah, I love Gertie and I feel
I
for
do
her.
too. I do too. And I love
And I'm so
Russell.
glad
And
she's alive, for fuck's sake.
me
That is a
too, man.
lot of surgeries and treatments, and fucking hell, she went through it. And to show up with energy and like a great attitude in a hot bikini. She also said she's gained 30 pounds. That must be disorienting to be in a body you're not familiar with and one that like betrayed you. But how great to have a body to be alive in. Like, I
Yep.
can't imagine how much one goes through on the recovery side of that illness too. Anyways, she's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing her through the rest of the season. I just think she's rad.
Abso-flippin'-lutely. Me too. Oh, thank fucking God for her presence on this show. Honestly.
And her perspective. I imagine once you've been at
Yes.
the gates of death that you're sort of like, I have a sense of what matters and what doesn't. However, then I go back to like, why were you shitty about Julia not sending you a Zoom link? That's why she's a housewife. God bless.
Okay. I was ready to make excuses for her, dude. I was ready to fully make excuses for her.
I would be pissed off too. And it's old. It's related to my mom having no sense of time. I can get really prickly about feeling like my time is being disrespected. So if I was Gertie and I had another commitment and someone was late to the Zoom call, I would get off as well. But then I would not be shitty on the other side but maybe I would. maybe I would. I'd be like, why are you withholding happy information from someone who just recovered from cancer and had 6,000 treatments? Like, don't be a dick, Julia. Anyways, I could make an argument for both sides.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Julia
For
could
sure.
also consider this woman just survived,
Yeah,
a
dude.
nightmarish year and just go ahead and give her some good news to like feed her soul, dick.
Good argument, counselor. Hells yes.
Now I've argued both sides of the case and I have no, it's a mistrial. I don't fucking know.
It's not a mistrial in the case of this podcast. In the court of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we're not the legal podcast though. We're not. Margee is the.
I don't think anyone's confused.
Let us much love and mad respect for Bravo Docket. If you haven't listened to
best.
it, love it.
So good.
Hells yes. Love it. Love it. In Kiki's confessional, she says that she is a member of the Miami Yacht Club, dated the owner of the Miami Yacht Club. Membership has its privileges kind of thing. And I loved it. I love Kiki as well. I am grateful for her.
I love Kiki.
I am so grateful for Kiki. And then again, my Adriana, my problematic fave, joins the yacht.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And she reveals she's dating a new tall Frenchman, trying not to repeat the same mistakes she's made in past relationships, whatever. Then they talk about Alexia and Todd. And this is where Adriana says she understands where Alexia is coming from. In Latin culture, sometimes we forgive our men way too many times. Adriana claims that she'll be there for Alexia, and the girls look at her skeptically, and Gertie goes, you might be the last friend she goes to for support, but it's nice to know you'll be there for her. I was like, yeah. Because we, in the midst of that, we got a flashback of Adriana talking shit about Todd and Alexia. But it sounds like everything she said about them was true. So there you go.
So then we're treated to flashbacks from last season of Adriana telling Kiki and Julia, Todd's material wealth enables Alexia to feel better than them. And we also see her telling Julia that she heard a little bird told her that they're having financial issues. Okay, which may lend some credence to our theory that we discussed at the beginning, that maybe he bailed out because he didn't want Alexia getting caught up in whatever financial mess he was in. And again, they all laugh at the thought of Adriana being supportive of Alexia. Lol.
Then we go to Alexia and Larsa having dinner, and Alexia says she's not single. She goes, you're not single until your heart is single, and I'm not there yet. And Larsa is confused, as am I. And Larsa has a solid take on this, basically saying, like, be realistic. If he's capable of doing this once, he's capable of doing it again. And Alexia just goes, that's how life is. I'm hoping it won't happen again, but we haven't even had that talk. And this is where I lost my shit and I go into all caps of like, you've never talked about how he moved out secretly and in front of your son, why he moved out, why he came back. You haven't talked about any of this. And Alexia thinks they're both afraid to talk about the divorce, which is, my understanding is it's still filed because she doesn't want to start a fight. The avoidance is on a scale that is like out of control.
How emotionally dysregulating would it be to be in a relationship or in love with someone where A, you don't want to rock the boat, B, you're not being honest with your partner for fear of them going away, but she's willing to do it. She's willing to fucking do it.
After for a month, he like Shawshanked Redemptioned his stuff out of their house, like little by little for a whole month. He took bits and pieces out, then did like a full-blown abandonment overnight. It's just like, it's so soap operatic. You know what I mean? Like it's so much. I don't know. Like I said, I could barely get through this episode without addressing what happened, why it happened, and what the fuck they're up to now. So I don't know. Alexia just says she loves him and she can't let go. And then she asks Larsa how she finally left Marcus. And Larsa says too much damage was done. And we get some information about how she ignored some red flags when they were first dating. Paparazzi caught a girl going to his house. This was an incident Julia had brought up on camera last year, but Larsa chose to look past it. And Alexia mentions he's now been caught on film with some white substance up his nose, whatever. That's what she says. I was like, oh my God. And then they showed the photo. I almost passed away when that came up on the screen. I was like, oh my God, Bravo hates Marcus Jordan. And they held it on the screen for like a while so we could all really see the mountain of cocaine on the spoon that comes from the receptacle that Coke comes in. Like there's no mistaking. That was not sugar. That was not licking salt off your hand before a tequila shot. It was poised right under a nostril. Like it was so intense.
I don't even know if they hate him as much as they love drama that they get to, that's salacious. And they love when they have the opportunity to put something salacious on.
Receipts,
in
proof,
an
timeline,
episode. Yes.
all of it.
Yes. And Larsa says that this was really embarrassing for her and her kids, and it was embarrassing for him. And that at the end of all of that, he was sending really threatening texts to Larsa and her friends, and she had to block him on everything. And that's what really irks her about Lisa still following him and even just chatting with him at a restaurant that they happened to bump into him at. And Alexia sticks up for the men and says, well, they were all friends. And then Larsa reminds Alexia that she testified. Larsa testified in the court of law where do you have to take an oath when you even just testify, not in a criminal case, but
yes,
like
it was
just showing up for like a hearing or something? Do you have to take an oath?
It was probably a deposition. My guess is that she's a character witness or something. Which is whatever. It's dramatic. She had to take an oath and go on record on Lisa's behalf against Lenny. And now for Lisa to treat her with no sensitivity is pretty shocking. It's pretty brazen.
And Alexia says that she and Lisa need to talk. Larsa and Lisa need to talk. And it's not Jody's fault. He's a very innocent man in all of this. How dare you? How dare you? And Larsa says Lisa needs a lesson about being a girl's girl.
But I will say, when Larsa read the text messages that Marcus had sent, it's not just like, I wish you nothing but a horrible life. He literally says, when you least expect it, I'm going to get you back. And I could care less about the impact it does to your family. That is what,
brutal.
That's terrifying. It's not just brutal, because brutal is like a cutting, hateful thing you say. This is like it's outright threat. And when you least expect it, like all of it is terrifying. So, yeah.
Is that like coke addiction behavior? Getting that gnarly? Or is it just...
I mean, I think it's like, you're not watching The Valley, but Jax Taylor has yes, I think cocaine, you're predisposed to being agitated and overreactive. And I don't think...
And then it gives you that sense of security that you're invincible and you can say anything you want.
And that you should say anything because you're right. Cocaine makes you think you're right about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he feels like this is justified. And the scary part of someone who's on that drug is if they're on that drug and they think they're right and they feel like taking action, they won't check themselves. That spooked me pretty bad. That text message gave me a chill.
So then we have the montages showing everyone in the cast getting ready. They're getting their glam done for the old Hollywood party. We have arrivals. Adriana shows up with her new French roast man. She's really proud of bringing Amari because not only is he super handsome, but he comes from French aristocracy and has a title. He is a marquis. And this is Luann, but make it the 305 area code.
I mean... I'm sorry, but Amari is hot. Adriana says, I walked in with this 6'4" piece of meat and everybody got hungry, baby. And I was like,
my God.
Yeah, he's really good looking. And I don't believe there's anything more than like a sexual chemistry between them, but like live your life. He's hot and what a fun person to spend the summer with.
Margee, I wanted to ask you, like, dude, no one walking into that party looked anything like old fucking Hollywood.
I don't know. I mean,
I just look for reasons.
I hate a theme party. I hate costume parties because there's so much pressure to deliver. Everybody looked fine, but like, I guess everyone was supposed to dress like Marilyn Monroe, but like in Miami where everyone just wants to show skin. And I appreciated Gertie showing up like naked. Celebrate that healthy body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She looked
Like,
gorgeous.
but that's why I just feel like throw a party and don't do this like costume bullshit. It makes me insane. I
It's
never
all-
dress up. I find it like it's too stressful. So I just don't.
Lisa wanted
I'm
an
that person.
excuse. Lisa wanted an excuse
she
to put
didn't
on
look
the
old
white halter.
Hollywood.
No, I know, but
Oh.
she thinks that just because she and Marilyn, later in the party, she does an outfit change, and she's wearing a white halter dress. Marilyn Monroe wore a sexy white halter dress in Some Like It Hot. That's where it fucking ends. The shit attaches behind your neck. It's white. That is it. Vapid.
It was weird.
Vapid.
Everyone looked
Fly.
lovely, but like I
don't know,
just
man.
don't understand. Yeah, the theme I could have done without.
Yeah.
And a very like meat centric party, and living on the West Coast, like you just don't see that at all. Like there was a neon sign that said the meat made me do it. I was like,
I mean,
ugh.
it
Made you
was-
sweat, made your arteries clog. Like what did the meat make you do?
It was so weird.
Doing bone marrow shots. I love Kiki
Oh, my
for being
God.
like, that's some rich people shit.
It is some rich people shit. What must that taste like?
It's so unnecessary and disgusting.
Yeah, it's
Tequila,
God.
like bone marrow, I've had it before. I never understand these like high delicacy things. It was fine. But like texture wise, I was like, I don't know, I'd rather have avocado, I'll be honest. Like it was fine, but I don't get it. And throwing tequila through that texture and flavor, I was like, what is that? Savory tequila? Like that is some rich people shit. That is just boredom taking hold and being like, I don't know, let's do a shot out of a bone.
Oh my God. Yes.
Lord.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So Martina and Julia are congratulated about the babies. Lisa tries to nudge Alexia to consider dating one of Jody's hot friends. And Alexia says, oh, no thanks, I'm married.
And to which I like passed away. I was like, oh, right. Okay. Okay. Sure. If that's what marriage is, my God.
I know. So then Jody arrives, Lisa poses for pictures, and Julia's confessional, she says that she's unclear why she and Adriana haven't been communicating as much. In Adriana's confessional, she says that she and Julia have distance because Julia was getting closer to Marisol and Alexia.
Whatever.
Again, it's fifth grade fucking politics. Third
Yes.
grade? No, not even third grade. That's disrespectful to my kid. This is childish.
It's a lot of
Sorry.
scorekeeping, and it
Yes.
just feels like exhausting. And then Gertie arrives in her see-through red lace, old Hollywood outfit from Fredericks of Hollywood. She looks great, but it was like that. I truly was like, okay, I guess anything goes. Her hair looked great. Her hair looked old Hollywood.
Her hair, thank you. It did.
So maybe she
Yes,
was like
agreed.
boudoir old Hollywood. Maybe
Yes.
she was like, that's fine.
We're going to
Who
look
gives
for
a shit?
loopholes with Gertie. I am going to look for loopholes with Gertie every time.
And again,
Don't care.
she's alive. So I feel like she gets a pass. She can wear
Yes,
anything
yes.
or nothing or whatever the fuck she wants. And then Gertie asks Julia and Martina, how are the boys? And they offer a very cold reply saying like, they're good. And again, I'm team nobody. I'm like, Gertie, you should have said more than congrats. Julia and Martina, you guys, just say like, hey, it hurt that you said just congrats. This is a really big deal to it. Like somebody say the thing and then we can get past this in a second. But everybody digs into their bullshit and then we do bone marrow shots.
Yeah, and Lisa takes more pictures, more posing for more pictures.
And now
So-
is this when she says she's like so horny? She's with Jody when they're taking pictures. She's like, oh, I'm so horny right now. I want to do it. And I was like, oh my God, you're so coked out of your mind. God bless.
Ew, ew. And Jody
Horny
is
for Jody? It's
horny
like
for Jody.
it's like being horny for a Waymo. Like he has as much sexual energy as like a Roomba. He's a robot to me. I can't see anything that feels human. There's no like blood flow in his face. I don't understand.
Yeah, there's no intonations in his voice either.
No,
Like
he's not a
just,
person. It's weird.
He's nar, man. Larsa arrives. Lisa says hello to her. They hug, and Lisa says, I'm going to go get you a drink. Larsa hugs Marisol and says, what has Lisa been saying about me? And Marisol says nothing, but you guys need to talk. Lisa comes up with her drink and says, we need to talk. And Larsa says, dude, you didn't call me. I texted you. And Lisa says, and I absolutely 110% do not believe it, I didn't get your text. And Larsa doesn't believe it either. And Lisa starts to hem and haw about how she didn't get the text. And
They just go
she's
back and forth
wasted
for a
the rest of
while.
this
Yeah. And Larsa goes, are you drunk? And Lisa says yes. And Larsa goes, okay, it's okay. And I was actually proud of both of them in this moment. Obviously, it escalates later. But in this moment, that was the right question to ask. Thank you, Lisa, for giving an honest answer. And good for you, Larsa, for saying, like, okay. Because there's nothing to talk about when someone's shit-faced. It's like you can have
You're
this
right.
conversation all you want. One person may not remember it. The other person may get emotional in ways they don't mean. Like, it's not the time.
Yeah. And this is where Lisa goes and does her outfit change and maybe has some booger sugar.
For
And
sure.
oh my God, Adriana asks the Marquis how many times she can fuck him. 7 times, I guess. And Larsa and Jody then start in on their conversation. I don't really know why she was taking this up with Jody, you know?
Again, everybody's talking around what they mean to say. Just say what you mean. Say like, hey, it really bummed me out that you would spend time with Marcus right now. I'm in a lot of pain, and whether or not you intended to, it hurt me. I'm happy I'm here for your birthday, but can you give me a few months where you just like lay off the Marcus hangs or at least publicizing them? Thanks. But instead, she's like, I've been trying to reach Lisa. She's a bad communicator. Have you seen the headlines of what's going on in the news? And of course, Jody's like, no, I haven't seen anything. Nobody's saying anything. This is a waste of everyone's time. I'm bored.
Then we go back to the closet or the dressing area where Lisa is doing her costume change, and she tells whoever is assisting her she wanted to
Alexia.
change. Oh, it was Alexia?
Yeah, because she's like, well, you changed your outfit at your wedding. I mean, this isn't my wedding, but I
Oh
get
my
an outfit
God.
change.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's right. Okay. And she says she wants to change because it's her party. I mean.
And at this point, don't you think she's like I think she got something introduced to her brain because she's like starting to get really like, she's talking really fast and she's really excited and she has all the answers and and then she emerges and just takes rash actions in every direction. It's insane.
So
yeah.
Jody tells Larsa, no, I haven't seen the headlines. And in Larsa's confessional, she says, Jody likes Marcus's last name more than he likes the person. I think he kisses ass a lot. And then we see him complimenting Larsa's earrings.
This episode, there was just an ass load of Jody. Like
there
I
was
was
too
tired
much
of
Jody.
him. So much Jody. I was tired of him in like the egg scrambling scene. And then he sure did show up at his own party a lot. Too much for my liking. So I was tired of this conversation. I don't know why Larsa engaged with him. And I think she's right that he likes Marcus's status. But I'm like, Larsa, like spot it, got it much. You know, like these are the people you run with, my dear. So
oh, shit. Hello, Ramona. How could you not notice
she dated a Pippin and then a Jordan.
Oh, she was married to a Pippin. Her
That's
last
right.
name is still Pippin.
Truth.
No Tippin Pippin.
Grody.
So Larsa tells Jody, listen, I've been trying to call Lisa, but she's not a good communicator. Super passive aggressive. And then she asks Jody if after seeing all the shit Marcus is talking about in the press, now do you understand why I'm feeling this way? And he says, I haven't seen anything. And I just wrote, this man is a drip. He's a
liar. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife is Lisa. I mean, your girlfriend is Lisa. They go room to room in those 6,000 square feet, just looking at TMZ and headlines. And,
right. There's Google alerts. Yeah. She knows how to use Google alerts. So they hug and she tells him she loves him. All right.
I mean, it's his birthday. Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. And I also can't forget it's Larsa Pippen we're talking about.
True.
Anyway, so Lisa emerges from wherever her changing room in something that's absolutely not old Hollywood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Adriana and Amari are making out on the couch, and Julia and Marisol are like, are they going to do it right there on the couch? And then Marisol's rude. She's like, Adriana got to get what she can while the getting's good. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this man is insanely hot. So this is not like the act of a desperate woman. Like, even if they have nothing in common and all they do is like make out. Like, yeah. I don't know. That was a hard sell, Marisol. You're not going to slam her on like, oh, this poor girl's getting the dregs at the bottom of the barrel. I'm like, this man is gorgeous. Leave it alone.
She said it's rare that someone wants to make out with her. I highly doubt that, Marisol. I highly doubt that. So then the cast gathers on another huge white couch. Gertie and Martina are sitting next to each other. Oops. And Gertie says, I feel like I'm on the outs. And she was trying to get on the Zoom call, and a few of them couldn't get on, and she had to go to her meeting. And in her confessional, she says, listen, I had a meeting I had to go to. I texted Julia afterwards asking what the news was. And Julia said she already told the other girls, and Gertie would read about it in the press soon. Yikes. And this
Yeah.
is, oh, yeah, no, you go.
And then
you go.
Gertie was clearly offended by that. So she just wrote back, congrats. And then Martina just passes the buck to Julia. She's like, well, you can talk to Julia about it. And then we kick over to more Jody. But this was actually interesting because apparently they're going back to he and his boys are going to go back into his room for a shot and some AC. And there's a lot of conversation about air conditioning in Florida. Like, come on.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like, we're going to go back and check out the AC. Like, listen, tech nerds, stop it. They were getting such a kick out of themselves. I can't stand it. Like, dude, okay, fine. So you're a billionaire and you're dating a housewife, but we know who you are.
Somebody said, where's the AC? And Jody goes, in my room, want to come? If it really was air conditioning, apparently Lisa has released a statement saying like, it's Florida, it's hot. We have really nice air conditioning and a full bar in our room. I'm like, nobody says, where's the AC? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's an insane thing to say. They say, I'm hot. Is there somewhere where it's a little, no. They're doing Coke. It's fine. Enjoy your party. It's
Right.
your birthday. Do whatever you want. But
And
like, come on.
if we're supposed to believe that place doesn't have air conditioning in it. Yeah,
Of
it's
course
Florida,
it
it's
does.
hot. It's Vegas, it's hot. It's fucking Palm Springs, it's hot.
And
There's
I didn't
air
see anybody
conditioning.
fanning or sweating or being like,
Right?
oh, God, it's really hot in this event space or wherever the
no
fuck
one
they
was
were.
schwitzing. Everyone looked cool as a cuke. Come
Give me a
on.
break.
Right?
But I guess we now know what connects Jody and Marcus Jordan.
Oh, that's why they're friends.
Yeah,
Duh.
they have a passion for snorting stimulants.
Lol.
And then, so this is where I'm like, oh, Lisa got a hit of air conditioning herself when she changed her dress because she comes out and she's like, whoa, things are going great. Life is great. I'm celebrating my life. Everything's going well. And Larsa tries to rationalize with a woman on cocaine and is like, well, remember when life wasn't so good and your friends were really there for you? And tries to tell Lisa that she should check on Larsa as she goes through a breakup with a toxic partner. Yeah, we just sort of rehash the whole, Lisa's not okay with Marcus bashing Larsa publicly. That's why she didn't go to dinner, she claims. Larsa gets in the weeds saying Jody would never have met Marcus if it wasn't for her. And then it starts going like really low. Larsa tells Lisa that Marcus would always say that Jody is really cheap. And I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? And Larsa's like, well, I don't understand how Lisa can't influence the man whose dick you suck every night. And I was like, what are we even talking about anymore? I literally don't understand. They just derailed completely.
Completely derailed. Then, in the most blatant display of you spot it, you got it, Lisa says, Larsa is selfish, super entitled, in my house. Have some fucking manners. I don't suck his dick every night. I'm a mom. I'm super tired. Oh, super. She's selfish and entitled. Oh, Lisa, is Larsa selfish and entitled? Is she? I guess, obviously they both can be, but, for Lisa to say that someone's selfish and entitled is a whole lot of cojones.
Yeah. She was really on one.
Mm-hmm,
Then Lisa claimed she didn't know Marcus was threatening Larsa, and Larsa says that the specifics shouldn't matter because Lisa didn't reveal every detail of what went on between her and Lenny, but they all knew to support Lisa. And that's a fair argument. But again, you're making an argument to someone whose brain is buzzing with things that are not there for logical, rational conversation.
And give her an inflated sense of ego, can't touch me.
As evidenced by her saying, well, that was a 15-year marriage with 2 kids in the mix and their lives are forever fucked up. And I'm like, hey, here's some news. A 1-year relationship with an asshole under the roof can fuck up Larsa's kids too, which apparently it did if they were telling their mom, get off the ride. It doesn't, we're really getting cosmic scoreboardy here as opposed to just being like, Larsa's going through something. So don't be a dick. she was able to not be a dick when it was your time when you were going through something. So,
And Lisa's like, you left your marriage, as if that makes it any, so what? So what? Okay,
you
so.
should have left yours, Lisa.
Right?
Lenny was a turd from the minute we met him. Give me a break.
And then Larsa says, you had girls in your hot tub. And Lisa says, well, what about your sex life? Holy shit. And the fact that I was on Larsa Pippen's side in this argument is something that I never saw coming in my wildest dreams.
Likewise, I was shocked that I was like, Larsa's making a great deal of sense. I was like, what are you thinking? But that's when I was like, Lisa has got to be absolutely high out of her mind.
Oh my God.
I should be, again, this would be a classic team nobody normally, but I was like, Larsa might be in the right here, which is weird.
I mean, don't quote me on it, but quote me on it, I guess.
But then Gertie confused me because she sort of takes Lisa's side, saying that some of Larsa's breakups were purely for press. Gertie says that Larsa has TMZ and friends on speed dial, and we all know it. And I was like, oh my. Behind closed doors action, someone yells, where's Jody? And behind the closed door, but mic'd, we hear, the AC's so good in there. It's good, right?
Jesus, come on.
That much conversation about like an HVAC system. Come on.
Reminiscent of our people doing coke in your bathroom at Dorit's party. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not about the pasta. It's thematic
Seriously.
on Bravo.
I mean, it's Miami. I don't mean to be all like Carlito's Way or fucking Scarface about it, but at the same time.
At a birthday party with people in this social, what's the word, echelon? I don't know. I would expect to see it
Trash
at a
can.
party. Yeah. I would expect to see it at a party. You know, I would expect to see it at this party.
Yeah.
And I would expect with a camera crew there, they'd come up with a code name and there we go. Whatever. Who cares? And then Marisol tries to bring Lisa back down to earth and says that Lisa was extra mean to kick Larsa out. This breakup is obviously a real one because he's now moved out. And Marisol thinks Lisa's had too much to drink. And Lisa's like, coming from you? And I was like, oh my God, it's all coming out.
I mean, shots fired, right?
Or just like,
and also
state
spots
the
it, got
obvious.
it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, her monkey is wasted. Her monkey might be on cocaine.
Yes.
Marisol, you drink
she's
a lot.
a little jazzed. And then Larsa, this actually, again, made me sad. Larsa was in the bathroom with Kiki, and Kiki says, I've never seen her ugly cry like this before. Larsa really is like coming undone. It does seem like this breakup is, she's having like a normal human reaction to like a breakup with someone that you really loved and saw a future with, and it is sad. And Kiki tells Larsa that people will say shit because she's that girl and you got to stop running. And so they walk back and sit back down with the group.
Lisa says to Larsa, I don't want you to cry, but you called me a fucking bitch. And Larsa says, you're such a victim. You're such a victim. It's always about you. You live in Lisa land. You're my best friend. You weren't there for me. You're dumb. And then Lisa spots it and gots it. Don't play victim. The whole world knows who you are. It's just, I can't stand. It's just, okay, to me, it's a sign of low intelligence when I'm going to sound real, maybe I sound dumb right now, but Larsa said victim, so Lisa, find another word. You don't get to say you're a victim.
You are. You're that.
Yeah,
you are.
It didn't even feel like it was a tit for tat. She said, don't play victim. Like, no, Larsa just said that about you. So you got to go find some, open a thesaurus. The whole world knows who you are.
I think she said the whole world knows what you are. I think because it was like extra fucking cutting. It was basically you're a cheap whore.
That sucks. Again. Yeah, you're nodding. We know what we're thinking. Projecting.
It was just like really mean. It's like I've had people like that in my life who, when their back is against a wall and they want to win, they say like the harshest, meanest, most personal thing they can come up with just to shut you up and shut you down. And that did it. It's just vague enough to be like, what the fuck? And it's also just vague enough. If it was said to me, it would immediately bring all of my insecurities right to the forefront. And I'd be like, which one of those? What do people know? I think I may have told you on the first show that I worked on, the showrunner said to an executive, she said, I just want you to know what you think everyone thinks of you, they do. And like walked away. And I was like, it was so vicious. And again, vague, but you know the person is going to take it in like the harshest way. So that's what this read like to me.
That's cruel.
It is.
That's cruel.
Cruel and effective.
Yeah.
Because Larsa leaves and Julia comforts her saying like that was wrong. And Marisol tells Lisa that she humiliated Larsa by kicking her out like that. And Kiki walks Larsa out to the sidewalk. And Larsa says, I wanted to come for Jody, but this breakup was real with the man who lived with her and her kids.
Yep.
The line of the night, Larsa's car comes and Kiki's like, I don't want you walking alone. You're single. You've got big boobs.
God, Kiki, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. We go back upstairs to find Lisa in full party mood, helped out by whatever she's imbibing. And she's going, woo, let's go. Act like literally nothing is wrong. So
she goes, let's go. Let's fucking go. Happy birthday to you. Like it was crazy.
It was creepy.
Her energy output was nuts.
Yeah, agreed.
She sings happy birthday to Jody, and that's the end of the premiere episode.
Dude.
Whoa.
Exhausting.
It gave us everything.
It sure did. Oh, friend, what else did you watch this week?
I did watch The Valley this week. It's not lightening up over there. It's still very challenging material, but compelling. And then I watched Atlanta, which was actually really good. There's all like the petty bullshit drama in between these women, but then they're on a girls' trip, and one of the women, her child at home gets very ill, and immediately the girls go home, swarm around her. Everyone who's been fighting with her is like, I'm here for you. I don't care about what's going on between us at all right now. And Shamia, it's her kid at home who's ill, breaks down crying, and everyone hugs her. Everyone immediately gathers around and like puts their hands on her, loves her and supports her. Doesn't do what Marisol did in this episode and rush her through her crying. They let her sob until naturally a little humorous moment like presents itself. They get a laugh and then they do shots. You know what I mean? It was like so lovely. It's what like, I don't know. All these housewives are real petty, but the Atlanta housewives, at least in this episode, when something actually matters, they're like, no. The rest of this can either be set aside or just be put to bed because we got you. And
Priorities.
Yeah. One of them was like, you know, you can't be home right now, but like you have your whole village right here in this room with you. We got you. And I was like, oh, it was real sweet. So I loved it. What about you? What did you watch?
Love Hotel.
Fucking hell. Gotta.
Do you keep forgetting?
Yes. I'll get on it.
You'll like it, Margie. It's
I know I will.
enjoyable. Shannon, I actually had a Margie moment. You know, Shannon and the man that she's coupled up with, they had some conflict on the episode from Sunday, and equal shitheads, as Reddit would say. No winners. No winners. I can see both sides. And then Love Island. Love Island. I'm behind. Not so far behind that if I watch a couple episodes at night, like, should I be so inclined to do so? Not because I want to catch up, but because I'm scrolling or doing my games or whatever, folding laundry. Someone was already fired. She was fired before they recorded episode 2 for a discovery of racist slurs on a podcast she was on. These producers and these casting people on The Bachelor, on whatever, is it a feature or is it a bug that they never dig deep? I don't think they care enough to do it. And maybe they just go like, hey, man, no press is bad press. All press is good press?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
Both of those. All press is good press. No press is bad press. Or no. Yeah. All press is good press. That's what it is.
Yeah. But I can't really watch more than one episode of those at a time. It gets real boring.
I find it so overwhelming because there's just so much. It's like how I feel about Big Brother too. I'm like, you're asking so much of me. Meanwhile, I will watch like 3 episodes of the Sherry Papini documentary, but like I
Yeah,
can't
but
be bothered to watch
that's
3.
dynamic.
It
Did
seems
you
like
watch
it.
the Sherry Papini
I have not
documentary?
yet, honestly.
Okay.
But a friend of mine, I was hanging out with a friend yesterday who's like, you've got to watch it. I was like, I already
Uh-huh.
watched the other one. And she's like, this
Yeah.
one's better. It's her. It's all her. I was like, all
It's
right.
it's better, but again, anatomy of lies. Like we think we know, we don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, and then I'm watching early seasons of Summer House as Josh watches them for the first time. Kyle is my worst nightmare and the worst type of American man that, let's see, how do I explain this? Okay, so he's not Patrick Bateman. You don't need to fear for your life from someone like Kyle Cook. I'm just saying that he is so entitled and so narrow-minded and so like his way or the highway. And I find it repellent. And he's just so fucking boring and one note, man, especially in the early seasons. So I don't know. I guess fine. He's probably had a modicum of growth. Gives a shit. We've talked about him for so long, so many weeks now. Friend, what was your antidepressant?
My antidepressant was yesterday. A friend of mine invited me to a taping of Dave Letterman's show. My next guest is, and Jason Bateman was the guest, and they were great together. They're both just like really funny. And it was at this theater I've never been to in Highland Park, like this really cool part of town, and a beautiful space called the Lodge Room. I'd never been. It's like gorgeous. And it was just really fun. Like it was an unexpected invitation. I got to spend time with a friend. Jason Bateman is like, what a career. You know, he was like a child actor. And then he spoke very openly about a period in his life where he's like, I just got really selfish. And basically, he just like disappeared and did drugs for a decade and then got his shit together. And now he's like, everything he touched turns to gold. You know, he's a producer, director, actor. He's a podcaster. He's like, everything he does is like exquisite. So it was just interesting to hear these two people talk. And I know Dave Letterman has some problematic chapters, but he's an icon to me. Like he's one of the first people on TV that I was like, that's actually hilarious to me. Dave Letterman and the movie Airplane. I was like, this is what I genuinely find funny. So it was kind of
Yeah,
thrilling.
you are not alone in that.
Yeah. In an industry that can feel kind of fake, like it was a really authentic conversation between two people who clearly like respect each other and have a great sense of humor. And it was just fun. It was,
Oh, good.
quick 90 minutes in and out. It was great. How
I
about
love
you?
that. I went dancing on Saturday night, and I can't remember the last time I went dancing. One of the moms at Leo's school told me about this dance club that her friend was putting on, and it's from 8 to 11. Now, if that's not fucking luxury for a middle-aged mom, I don't know what the fuck is, right? A middle-aged anybody. Who the hell wants to go dancing at 10 o'clock at night? I don't want to. So it sounded real fun. And then when it was getting down to like 8 o'clock on Saturday night, I sent her a meek little text. I'm like, I've been in bed reading. I don't know if I really want to, I'm cozy. And she was like, oh, hell no, girl.
Love it.
And she's just like the kind of personality that you don't say no to. So I cobbled together an outfit. I went down there. You know, it took me a minute to find my groove. It was just so freaking fun. And I was real proud of myself that I made a commitment. I showed up and I had a lot of fun. And I thought of you because I was like, Ramona, 20 minutes. That's it. And I lost track of all the compliments I got on my outfit. I don't say that to brag. I'm just saying that this is from Gen Zs, from people my age, from just a bunch of people in that club. And I was so flattered that people appreciated my sartorial creativity because I love
Did you take a picture?
clothes.
I want to see.
I did not take a picture, but someone else did. I have them. I wore some satin sweatpants and a pair of red high heels.
Perfect. I love it.
And I had a little gold fanny pack, my bamboo hoops. And then on Tuesday, it was my son's last day of school, and they do this thing where they honor all the grades by having them do a step up to the next grade. It was just so sweet. And I love that there was such a big deal made about honoring these kids and what they've done. And then we went to a huge all-school picnic after that, and it was really fun. I feel good.
That's awesome.
I feel good and welcome in that community, and my son is thriving, and I'm excited. And now we're officially on summer vacation, and the very first day of it, my kid spent barfing.
Hey,
So,
man.
He's upstairs sick. Poor kid. Anyway,
What was the music at the club? Like, what was the era
you know,
or genre?
the songs that gave in the late 90s to mid
Love
2000s.
it.
The woman that I was dancing next to, she and I were chatting, and she was 10 years younger than me. She was talking about how her kids will make fun of her music, and then California Love came on, and I looked at her and I said, when these kids have a song that comes out that can stand the test of time like this, come talk to me. Until then, tipsy, everyone in the club, yeah.
So fun.
Friend, it was so great to discuss this episode with you. I tentatively say that I'm excited about this, but I am also bracing myself.
I mean, this was massive. This was a massive first episode, and we still haven't met the new person who I think I'm going to love because she seems to be tolerating none of Alexia, you know?
Oh,
I don't know if you
great.
watched like the preview for the coming season, but
I
she
wasn't paying
seems
attention that much.
good.
But
She
yeah.
seems like she's going to be a good addition. Famous last words.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Pass it on to a friend that you think would like it. Take good care of yourself.
And we'll talk next week.
We'll talk next week. We'll be back with more Real Housewives of Miami.
Yay.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Ramona and Margee are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.